It's almost hard to believe that you finally submitted your applications. We know how much time you spent simply thinking about the benefits of an MBA, and then of course the efforts you put into crafting your story. Once you were ready to send in your applications, hopefully you heeded our tips on actions to avoid before submitting. Now that you've clicked the submit button, you may be thinking, so that's it? You were so used to making progress nearly every day. Is it now really okay just to sit back and wait for the school's decisions? Isn't there something you can do to gain an edge over your fellow applicants? Well, here are recommendations on what not to do after submitting your applications. The first one's a big one. It's important. Don't read the message boards. This is the best way to eliminate unnecessary stress. Reading message boards, even from well-known websites, will likely make you feel insecure about your application. There are posts out there that can describe pretty impressive accomplishments in a complete vacuum. Everyone seems perfect online, or everyone presents the best of themselves online. We all know that. Of course, you don't know exactly who wrote what and what their intentions were. They may be exaggerated or even completely false. Keep in mind that your personal story about helping a family member is not necessarily less compelling than some stranger's post that seems much larger in scope, assuming it's even true. Plus, you're not necessarily competing with these applicants. And these stories only represent a small fraction of the applications that schools receive. They have room for a lot of different people. Be confident with your own story, and since you can't change the past, don't worry about the profiles of others. Here's another big one. Do not contact the admissions committee. After you submit your application, you should take a deep breath, because for now, there's close to nothing you can do. You can't go back and edit your application, and you shouldn't want to anyway because you worked so hard on your application. The one exception is you could still retake the GMAT or the GRE, and you could send your score in after the deadline and soon after. The admissions committee may still be able to add that to your file before making any decision. However, you should not contact anyone on the admissions committee at all. Never. I can't be clear enough on that one. Your application, for example, was the place to show your interest in the school. Hopefully you attended information sessions and had touch points with current students and members of the admissions team. Once you've submitted your application, you don't need to further show your interest. It just is only going to show them that you have poor judgment, poor etiquette. Maybe you won't even be thoughtful in class. So you have to resist that temptation. One other thing to keep in mind, don't assume you'll be admitted. Despite feeling rightfully confident, top business schools are quite competitive, and schools simply don't have room for all of the world's most qualified applicants. It's just not wise to make future plans as if you'll be heading to business school in the fall. This is especially true for how to act in your current job. Continue to work hard for that promotion. Additionally, if part of your rationale for pursuing an MBA is to career switch, then continue to job search as well. Simply waiting a few months until you hear back from schools and not being productive with regard to your career, or potentially even leaving your job, well, that's not time well spent. In some cases, you may need to reapply. Burning bridges through lackadaisical work won't be helpful to you. So stay focused. Only a few more months to go. Wait for the decision. Don't stress. That's important too. As has been discussed, there's little you can do once your application is submitted. Therefore, it's unhealthy to stress about things that are beyond your control. Pay attention to the interview notification deadlines and don't expect to hear anything before them. Until you hear back from the school, simply enjoy no longer having to work on your applications. Focus more on work and ideally your life outside of work. You'll be stress-free once you hopefully hear positive news from each school. Within a couple of months, if not sooner, each MBA program will notify you of a decision. Our mbaMission resources will have you covered. If you're invited to interview, check out our many free interview guides so that you'll be prepared for this crucial next step in your process. Best of luck with your applications.